Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This video clip has been circulating in social media, and many people have reacted angrily to it, and rightly so too. In the clip, Mnangagwa is promising that he will help anyone who comes forward and who needs help. He's saying this in a country where millions are living in abject poverty. Basic services like education and healthcare have all but collapsed. And he has got the arrogance to boast that no one will be left behind. And anyone who needs help should come forward. Let's just listen to what he had to say. Sorry about that. Some problems with technology here.
Vasarira wese anenge eida kubatsirwa sehurumende tiripo kubatsira, so kusava nomanovanda ngavauye kana vane hama dzavo ngavauye kuno zvinovabatsira. Hazvisi zvinobva maoko angu aiwa ndezvehurumende, saka ini basa rangu tabatsira vana kubatsira vakadaro. Thank you so much. Zvakanaka.
I think it is most insensitive. Here is a regime that has forced millions of people into abject poverty. And yet he has got the arrogance of making it appear as if anyone who is poor out there, the regime will help him or her. When in reality, this is just a fallacy. Zimbabwe is a failed state. We have had 45 years of broken promises and tyrannical rule. We cannot pretend that that problem is caused by people failing to come forward to seek help from the regime. That is not true. What we have in Zimbabwe is a failed state because of decades of bad governance. The root cause of Zimbabwe's economic problems is that we have been stuck for 45 years and counting with a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical regime that believes it has, it has the divine right to rule the country. no one has the right to rule the country. The right to a meaningful say is more than a right. It is the essence of good governance. In Zimbabwe, after 45 years of tyrannical rule, what the nation needs most desperately is good governance. What we have in Zimbabwe is a regime that believes that they have got the divine right to rule, and so have been rigging elections and denying people a meaningful say. And then it has been going around helping people with donations and trivial gifts and so forth, all meant to give the impression that the regime is helping the people and everybody is prospering. Anyone who needs help must come. They must come forward. No one should be left behind, said the president. Here is a video of his wife doing the same thing.
ngaiti zati gore munani kana gore nevazukuru vanorya mbeu vamunangagwa mbeu ngetinoda pane zvatinenge tichispotwa zvinobva kumusoro. Ini shuviro yangu sekufunga kwangu vatipe zvinhu zvinoita fanika mainiputsa wokuti zvinogwana kuitisa mapurojekiti oti kana kuri kudire zvemabiridziro kana zvimwe zvinhu zvinongoita kuti kusara tine chatakabata zvinongotipa simba rokuramba tichishanda tisevenzisa simba redu. Tisaita zvokupuwa zvokudya izvi munaso kuti zvinogona kutiremadza pamafungiro.
It's true that these handouts are not solving anything at all. The country's economic crisis is getting worse and worse. I think it will be important at this point in time to also mention that the country has had the misfortune of having an opposition that has proven to be utterly useless. So we have got on one hand the ruling party that believes that they have the divine right to rule and to make sure that they win and stay in power, they rig elections. And on the other hand, we've got the opposition who, although they were elected initially to implement democratic reforms to end the ZANU-PF dictatorship, they have since changed. They are now, ever since the 2008 to 2013 GNU, they've now been participating in flawed elections, claiming that they have got ways of rigging. They've got ways of stopping the regime rigging elections. So their supporters have been made to believe that if they participate in flawed elections, the opposition would win. And this is what has helped to keep the regime in power this last 25 years. What we need is to go back to basics. We need to go back to a system where we have got free, fair, and credible elections, where the right of every citizen to a meaningful say in the governance of the country is respected and upheld. And an end to this foolishness of some individuals who think they have the divine right to rule, aided by their sidekick, telling people that they've got ways of plugging vote-rigging loopholes, when in reality they are lying. So, after 45 years of broken promises and tyrannical rule, Zimbabweans are finally learning that it is not from the benevolence of the dictator they'll get their dinner. He is in power to loot, and looting is insatiable. The more they loot, the more they want. I repeat, we really need to put an end to this madness. 2028 elections are just around the corner, 3 years from here. It is too late to implement any meaningful reforms to make sure that those elections are free, fair, and credible. However, what we can do is make sure that Chamisa and company does not con his brain-dead followers to participate in another flawed election to give ZANU-PF legitimacy. That is easier said than done. Because as we know, in 2023, he managed to con them with an idiotic lie that he had plugged all the vote-rigging loopholes. They believed him, and they participated in those flawed elections. So the challenge is not a minor one. It is a serious one, but it's not an impossible task. And I think we should take it with the seriousness and urgency the matter demands. Zimbabwe cannot afford to have yet another rigged election and perpetuate this dictatorship. That is the reality. And it is within our power to stop this madness. Think about it.